now. One person was convicted as well, but others were set free, not to discuss other criminals. I attended a conference in Visegrad only recently. Believe me, it was very sad to see the family that came from Sjeverin and Strpce. They were sitting in a hotel in my blood-stained town of Visegrad. The son, who was a minor, got up and said, "Please tell me about my mother's mortal remains. Where are her bones? Just tell me that." I know where her bones are, and I'm going to inform the tribunal about that. Everybody kept quiet about it. Everyone was silent. I said, turn around 10 meters away from this so-called Visegrad hotel. You'll see this restaurant called Lovac, where for years a war criminal has been working, the one who took part in this war crime, Boban Injic. And in Serbia, you say address unknown. I am asking you whether you have initiated proceedings through Interpol. Is there an APB? What have you done in that respect? Another question, though. When can you receive us in Serbia? When are you going to take into account our statements? You have the identity of the victims there, contact telephone numbers. Actually, it's the prosecutor's office of Bosnia and Herzegovina that has all of this. If our women went to testify in Captain Dragan's case in Australia, and if they traveled as witnesses all over the world, why did you not call them for the Branko Grujic et al. Case in Serbia and this other man who was indicted? When are you going to try, within your cases of Zvornik and others, these sex crimes, rapes? Please don't leave them out of your indictments. Every woman is prepared to testify in cooperation with the prosecutor's office, either in Belgrade or wherever, or with protective measures. That is yet to be decided.
I know there are a number of persons who are still asking the floor, who have already spoken before. I can take one last question. One of the ladies there behind. I'm really sorry. I would encourage you to use afterwards the break to ask these questions, but we will have to stop in a few minutes. So please.
I'll be very brief. I'm Hatija Mehmedovic. I come from Srebrenica, from the site of the genocide. I have a question for the gentleman, the prosecutor from Serbia. Did he visit one of the mass graves in Bosnia-Herzegovina, or rather in Bosnia, in Podrinja, along the Drina River, the Srebrenica genocide site, July 1995. I would like to ask all the prosecutors, have they visited these sites, these mass graves? I'm asking the judges the same thing. If they haven't, let them come to these sites. Let them see dismembered bodies. Perhaps then it's going to be easier for them to prosecute and to judge. And the gentleman from Serbia, had he visited a single mass grave, he would have found this ultimate war criminal. We know where all this evil came from. It came from Mladic. We can only be satisfied with justice and justice alone. That is the only thing that we mothers want to see. We want to see justice done because of our children whom we lost. And there are manipulations to this day in respect of genocide and respect of what happened. We have so many things to say by way of evidence. We have to prove that we had our children. So please, it is not that I'm beseeching you. It is really up to you. But Serbia has to get this straight. It has to look the truth square in the eye and to deal with the families who lost their nearest and dearest who were innocent. This is going to go on for a long time. We have to build confidence. We have to build the future for the sake of our nearest and dearest. And it is only truth and justice that can lead us to tolerance and reconciliation and everything else that we need. That is what I wish to say. Thank you.
Okay, I take two more questions. If you have questions, please, there have been enough. There have been many comments. We are grateful for the comments. I take from I cannot really see you. I see two hands which are raising. But really, if it's a question and not a new debate, please.
I will try to be brief, but I would like to state publicly here the lady who stood up and said that she had been raped in 1991 in a uniform together with Shabanovic. She wanted to destroy the dam in Visegrad. I myself never wore a uniform, never had a rifle. I was with my family throughout the war. My question for Mrs. Creso. In 1994, in 2004, you said something about the barracks. You said that this was given to be priority because there were 5,000 Serbs who passed through that facility. You also mentioned the incident at Dobrovolečka Street, and you were shocked about my experience at this court. You said I wasn't in Bosnia at the time, I was in Germany. My third question to you is, what about the silo in Tarchin? You know that it was disbanded 2 months after the Dayton Accords, and you know very well what had happened in that silo. It has never been said that the Serbs did not commit crimes for which they should be held responsible. But please, at this kind of conferences, and particularly you as a judge and Mr. Barisic as a prosecutor, please don't allow to have these things said about Serbia. I couldn't be an aggressor against myself. And for that reason, all the documents that I submitted to the ICTY and to Bosnia-Herzegovina prosecutor's office, I had to seek assistance, and I took them to the Republic of Serbia. I would like to use this opportunity and offer this to be brought to Croatia to Mr. Bajic as well.
It's really not to go into individual cases. I hope you will all understand. I take a last comment from the gentleman there, and then I leave it up to the colleagues to respond.
My name is Slobodan Franovic, the Montenegrin Helsinki Committee for Human Rights. We have come full circle now, in fact. At the beginning of the wars in the former Yugoslavia, there existed a full obstruction of justice as far as the military and civilian judiciaries were concerned. The ICTY needed to be established. We are now at a stage where the ICTY is coming to the end of its term, and the ball will be back in the court of the national judiciaries. We have heard many comments today, and I will only like to make one point where I think that where the ICTY can provide assistance, and particularly the international community, that's to say the European Union. In addition to the key cases mentioned here, those of Mladic and Hadžić, who are fugitives, there is also the issue of laying down national legislation that will enable the countries to prevent those who are being currently tried from absconding. We have the Herceg-Novi, Kaluđerski Vlaz, and Norin cases. In the case of Herceg-Novi, we have the deportation of refugees from Bosnia-Herzegovina. In 1992, we have 9 accused, 5 of whom are at large. In fact, they are in Serbia. The Kaluđerski Ras case also has 1 fugitive, and the third case another one. The fact of the matter is that they have used certain provisions of the Serbian law, the citizenship law, the Serb diaspora law, etc., and they were granted Serb citizenship without having relinquished their Montenegrin citizenship. In other words, they are out of reach of the courts. I would like to welcome the agreement between Bosnia-Herzegovina and Croatia. Just recently, Montenegro has extradited an individual to the Croatian judiciary. Such steps need to be taken in order to avoid having fugitives like Mladic, since the situation gravely undermines the trust that needs to be placed into the judiciaries in order for these trials